All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. So the other day, I was having a debate here on YouTube on another channel in the comment section. The video was about a comparison between Jordan and LeBron, and then there was people in the comment section saying that LeBron will never touch Jordan, he'll never touch Kobe. And me personally, I agree. I think Jordan is in a class by himself, but I made a comment and I said, well, I think LeBron James is better than Kobe. I don't think he's ahead of Jordan, but I think he is ahead of Kobe all time. And the one dude that I was going back and forth with, he wasn't really feeling that, because he was saying, well, how can you say that LeBron's not up there with Jordan, but he's ahead of Kobe? Like, that doesn't make sense. Because most people, when they think about Jordan and Kobe, they think of them as one and the same. And I don't. Now, I understand that people say that, Kobe's the closest to Jordan. I think he's the closest to Jordan as well in terms of style. But in terms of overall impact and results, I think LeBron is ahead of him. I think he's closer to Jordan in regards to what he's been able to accomplish in his career. And that's what sparked me to do this video today, to talk about who's a better player. And the thing that he was struggling with, the guy I was debating with, he didn't like the fact that I was bringing up certain stats to boost my argument. And one thing I could say without a shadow of a doubt, that stats are not the end-all be-all in regards to comparing players. You really have to understand what type of systems some of these players play in, and understand that a lot of times great players, depending on what offensive game plan the coach has set up for them, they do have to sacrifice their numbers to assist their team, to allow their teammates to be involved. That's part of the game, depending on what team they play for and what type of coaching strategy they have. So it is different, but I was bringing up certain statistics that LeBron has been able to accomplish in his career, or rather the stats that he's been able to accumulate in his career. And I was bringing up the fact that LeBron does outdo Kobe in every single stat category other than free throw shooting. And, to me, the whole stats don't matter argument that he was trying to come up with, that is borderline irrelevant when you have one player that outdoes another player in that many categories. And that's not even just in the regular season. That's in the playoffs. That's in the finals. That's even in their head-to-head matchups against each other. You understand what I'm saying? So I think stats do matter. Are they the end-all, be-all? No, but I think they are relevant to bring up, especially when you're comparing two players and you're trying to prove which one is better. So then after that, the next argument he had was rings. And he was bringing up how many rings Kobe had compared to LeBron, and he got more rings, and look at LeBron's finals record. He's lost more times than he's won. And let me tell you this, if your name is not Bill Russell, then some of the players that played with Bill Russell, then you've lost more than you won in your NBA career. You've lost more times, you've lost more seasons than you've won. Understand that? Because people just look at finals record. To me, that doesn't mean anything. What means something is how many times you won in the span of time that you played. Kobe Bryant played 20 seasons in the NBA. He won 5 championships. LeBron, not including this season, he played 18 seasons. He's won 4 championships. So their win-loss percentage is almost identical. Because LeBron's lost more times in the finals, that makes him worse. I mean, yes, it definitely is a harder pill to swallow when you get that far and you lose, but to say that's a knock on your resume compared to somebody that didn't even get there as many times, me personally, I just can't understand that. Like I said, Kobe played 20 seasons in the NBA. The other 15 seasons, what did he do? He lost. No matter if it was in the finals or not, he lost. You know what I mean? And then let me not even get into the times that they won. Because, Kobe Bryant, he got 5 titles, yes, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve credit for the first 3. I mean, especially in 01 and 02, people do actually discredit Kobe more than they should, especially for those 2 championship runs they had in 01 and 02, because him and Shaq borderline went hand to hand in those entire playoff runs, not just the finals, but the playoffs from start to finish. No doubt about it. But in the 2000 playoffs, I'm sorry, I mean, it was a clear 1, and then Kobe was number 2. It wasn't 1A and 1B. Kobe Bryant was, he was like Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan in that first playoff run. He was not on the same level with Shaq. He was not bringing the same impact to the game that Shaq was bringing that year. Shaq was the MVP of the league that year. You know what I mean? They were not equals that season. Kobe didn't start to sprout overall as a player until the next season. And like I said, Kobe deserves a certain level of credit for all three of those championships, but especially 01 and 02. But is that the same as LeBron winning the 4 championships that he won and being the 4-time Finals MVP? Look at LeBron's Finals victories. In every single Finals victory that he has, he led his team in points, rebounds, and assists. In the 2016 Finals, he led both teams, players on both sides, in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks that has never been done before in NBA history. You know what I mean? So I think his performances in winning efforts are much more dominant than Kobe Bryant's. That's just how I see it. You know what I mean? So, and of course, you know, people bring up the clutch argument with Kobe and LeBron. Who's a more clutch player? Kobe's a better closer. And me personally, I always said that clutchness is not always about the last second shot. It's about how you perform from start to finish. But just for the sake of this discussion, according to the numbers, LeBron has hit more game-winning shots in the playoffs than Kobe Bryant, and his shooting percentage in those moments are higher. LeBron James in elimination games has the highest points per game average in NBA history. In Game 7s, highest points per game average in NBA history. You know what I mean? So in crucial moments, yes, LeBron, his clutchness is undeniable. All right? And that's not to say Kobe's not clutch either. Of course, Kobe is clutch, but people like to act like LeBron's not a fourth quarter closer. And that's, you know, that all stems from that 2011 series against Dallas. Ever since then, you know, he's shown what he can do. You know, every great player has their moments when they don't live up to their expectations when it matters the most. Every player has that, including Kobe. I mean, let's be real. In the 2004 Finals against the Pistons, Kobe Bryant was not clutch at all. He wasn't good at all in that series. I mean, the only player that really doesn't have a major mark on their resume when they didn't show up in a pressurized situation, meaning not just the end of the game, but throughout the course of the entire game or throughout the course of an entire series, is Michael Jordan. And to me, that's what makes him the greatest. But once again, I'm just giving my perspective on the LeBron-Kobe debate. Of course, this is just my perspective. So if anybody has any comments or, you know, anybody has any disagreements, feel free to let me know in the comment section. We can talk about it. With that being said, everybody have a blessed day. All glory be to God. Thank you again.